Hey, Imaginators, this is Robert Hollis. I know it's been a minute, or a little more since we've talked, but I wanted to just do a quick video for the Imaginators, letting them know, by the way, Happy New Month to you, June of 2025. And moving forward, what I'm going to do with the Imaginators is just very simply share with you, like what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is totally reinventing myself and also taking everything that I'm doing to a different level. To who much is given, much is required. And so I've been very, very, very blessed for years to really live a life of freedom. And everything in life, when you go back to the basics, that's what I want to share each and every one of you. Now, moving forward, Imaginators is going to be two kinds of things. One is each and every one of you, if you want to know about, using AI to create different stuff for your life, including like, agents, and also like a written schedule of exactly who you are and where you want to go, sort of a game plan. There's no one better than Matthew. And so, Matthew Hollis, my son, soon to be a new father, this is Happy Baby Month. And so, we're really excited about that. And I need you to understand when it deals with anything to do with AI, he's got a separate subscription on his YouTube channel. And most of you know where it is. If you don't, just go to my YouTube channel, scroll down, you'll see. I think he just went over 36 million views. I'm really, really happy for him. And he's got millions of views on other social medias as well, like TikTok and others. So, he is going to lead by example and share with people what he's done with AI and how he's capitalizing on social media that way. Me, I'm going to be the person that is going to go back to what I know that I'm gifted with. And that's to be able to help individuals like you, I'm talking to you, get through whatever breakthroughs you need, whatever you think you're doing wrong, and get you in that state of imagination where you're so excited that you actually do things. So you always can tell, you always can tell whether or not you're excited about something. Because if you're excited, you will go into action. You know, let's go out to eat. Okay, I'm excited about that. Let's pick a restaurant. Let's make reservations. Let's go. Let's go right now. And so you always can tell when you're, and a lot of people make this mistake. I've made this mistake many, many, many times in my life, is when I'm unsure what I want in life and I'm unsure the direction I want to go, I end up following somebody else. And when I follow somebody else and start doing what they're doing, I don't get the results because I'm not excited about it. It doesn't feel right to me. And if it doesn't feel right to me, like say, I want to be able to make 6 figures a year having a YouTube channel. If there's something in you when you hear that and even think about that, the answer is no, that's not me. I know people that I talk to all the time. I'm never going to get on video. I'm never going to, do a video like this. Never, ever, 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 ever. Well, now you limit your abilities to what you're going to do on YouTube. And so, moving forward, if you're going to build a YouTube channel, if you're going to, use AI, if you're going to build on social media, Matthew is the guy. He is the guy because he's leading by example, within, a matter of a little over a month, he's got 36 million views on YouTube. I think he's gone over 12,000 followers. And then on TikTok and other social medias, he's doing the same thing. I think he's over 12 million views. And I don't say that to impress you. I just say that I can tell that Matthew, which I'm so, so proud of him, going to be future father here. This is baby month, June, is that when he's in the creative state, when he's creating things, because he loves telling stories as a storyteller, and him using AI to do that is what he loves to do. So when you find out what you truly love to do, then you got to pour your heart and soul into that, and you got to believe that the money will follow, that the audience will follow, that the people will follow. And what I and a lot of people do is they get involved in organizations or a coach or a trainer or whatever, and they start doing what that person does. And when they don't do it, like I'll give you a neat example. A lot of you know that I've been involved in network marketing, direct sales for 38 years. 38 years. And some people get it, most people, 99% of people will get involved in a company like that and they won't make any money. And the reason that they won't make any money is because they can say they used a product and they can say that the product did amazing things for them. They're just not telling anybody about it. So if they're not so excited about what the product did for them, then they're not selling any product. No sales, no money. That goes for the same for leverage and building a team or a group of people. You got to believe that, hey, I got involved with this industry, like I said, 38 years ago. I believed in what the guy told me was right. I did what he told me to do. I was excited about earning income and making my dreams and imagination come true for me and the family, the people that I love. So I sacrificed and I did what it took to pique the interest of virtually thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And that's made me millions and millions and millions of dollars. So even though you see someone like myself or other people doing something to earn income, if you're not excited about it and you don't believe in it, then that's the point that I need to help you with. So my part of imagination is very simple, is to get your mindset right. There's not a book out there. My wife recently read a book and put it in the Imaginators, and The Art of Living, by Bob Proctor. And so she got so inspired about it. I've gone through about a third of the book, I think chapter 8. And when you get to the basics of this industry and the basics of life, my videos moving forward are simply going to be about simplicity. Simplicity. And so you can know whether or not you want to change if someone gives you a simple assignment and you just don't do it. Be bold and honest with yourself. You go, man, I thought this was something that I want. Nah, apparently it's not, because I'm not doing it, right? And so my first thing when I met my mentor is he was able to share with me that I had stinking thinking, that my thinking about me, the world, money, those snobs, the wealthy people, my thoughts about money, my thoughts about spirituality, my thoughts about myself. I didn't like myself at all. I was ashamed of myself. I was mad at myself. I didn't like myself at all. And so, you got to be in a position where someone will look at you and say, hey, I can help you, but you got to go get this book. You got to go get this book, The Greatest Miracle in the World, and by Imaginators. And Robert, you need to read the book. And I'm dyslexic. I have difficulty reading. But for whatever reason, I wanted to change my life so much that I said, I'll go get the book. He says, go get the book, read it, and then give me a call. Well, I'm not going to call him and not read the book because I believed that he would question me on it. And then the second thing is that I knew that I needed to read this book. So once I got the book, go to the bookstore, of course, 38 years ago, and I did everything in my power to read that book as fast and quick as I could. And, because it was difficult for me, it took me probably, like 24 hours. I think an average person probably could read it in a matter of maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours. And so I studied it line for line, like I was going to take a driver's test or some kind of test because of this. And so that was his test. See, his test is, I believe that he told everyone about the book. But the test of who he was going to work with is someone that was willing to do an assignment, right? So, if people go to roberthollis.com/gifts, this is one of many gifts that I give to people. And because if you're not willing to unplug from the matrix, or like I say, unplug from all the garbage and the scrolling and the conspiracies and the, everyone doing everything bad and the world's going to end. If you don't unplug from that and you don't at least take some of that time, binging on Netflix, and you don't take some of that time and put it towards somebody that says, listen, this is what made me successful. So, Bob Proctor, I remember just, listening to the first, 7 chapters of that book that he listened to, The Greatest Secret in the World. You know what I mean? And that's one of the gifts on that page. So Earl Nightingale, so he said that. Then Bob Proctor always talks about a book called The Science of Getting Rich, by Wallace Wattles. And you'll see that my wife and I were talking today. And, I told her, she said, Bob Proctor constantly talks about if you're not putting good stuff in, then how is it possible for you to change your attitude? Coming from a mindset of gratefulness, that actually believing that you can be a miracle, right? That the chances of being a miracle, where you look at yourself and you believe that, with your awareness and everything you are and everything, because people still don't get that most of the stuff in the world that we have today is really the opposite. You got to break the paradigms of thinking the way that it's not, for me anyway. And so, people always are saying, if you give me, if I had this, if I have that, if I had money, if I had people that supported me, if I had a spouse that would support me, if I had friends, if I was good with technology, they're constantly, if I had more knowledge, if I just had more knowledge, if I just had more knowledge. And that is not it. See, so people think before they can be, they have to have. That's not the way it works. You got to be first. And by being a miracle, believing, reprogramming, willing to find something that and change the way you change your mind, is, I always tell people all the time, listen, I got a questionnaire about Science of Getting Rich. Let me send it over to you. And people are like, geez, I don't know these answers. See, because Bob Proctor talks about studying, studying books like The Science of Getting Rich, studying those books over and over and over and over to reprogram the thoughts that got you to where you are right now. Albert Einstein has said this the best. He goes, you can't change who you are and what you want in life if you're not willing to understand that the current thoughts that you have got you to where you are. You are where you are right now. You are where you are financially, spiritually, mentally, physically. Everything in your life, you are where you are right now because of your thoughts. Thoughts are things. And so when I met a couple of people that were worth millions and one was worth billions, that made me understand that I needed to change the way I thought. Garbage in, garbage out. So moving forward with Imaginators, I'm going to do short videos to share with each and every one of you just how simple life is. Now, the reason that I stopped doing lives with Imaginators is because I would do a short part like I'm doing now, and then we would open it up to a group of people that have heard what I said for years and years and years and years. And so there's really simplicity. Either a person's going to get excited, do the assignments, change their mind, their attitude, that changes their feelings, that changes their actions, or they don't. So that's why I said, well, listen, my number one goal, let me share with you, is my number one goal is now to take it to millions and millions. I will impact millions of people with the information and wisdom that God gave me. The world right now is drowning in opinions, drowning in made up stuff that's not documented. but they're starving for wisdom. And I was telling my wife that Richard Branson said it the best. He's a billionaire. You always can tell when someone's looking to sell you something, including themselves or coaching or whatever, is when they explain the complicity. I mean, how complex everything is. Because, Albert Einstein and others say, listen, you got to get a 6-year-old. You got to get a 6-year-old, a first grader, to understand your vision, your imagination, and where you're going. So if people are not willing, and that's okay, by the way, if you look at the world, a majority, I'll be bold here, over 95% of the people that watch this video, um, you don't want change. You tell people you do, but your actions say something else. So your actions speak louder than words. So people always say, well, I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to do this, or I'm willing to do this. And then I ask them, what day are you on? And they go, what do you mean, what day am I on? I said, well, you read, the greatest miracle in the world, didn't you? I'm contemplating to consider to evaluate. I'm really busy and I got a lot of stuff going on. See, it's like, listen, you told me that you wanted to change, but you didn't. I reread that book a couple times a year. For 38 years. And when the assignment came in there, and I read that in the book, I'm not going to tell you what the assignment is. And I followed that assignment. I read the book. I reached out to the person that told me that. And he goes, so what's the assignment? And I told him. And he goes, are you going to do it? And I said, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. But I didn't do it for the time required. Every single day. And with this book that I'm currently reading, the Art of Living, Bob Proctor says it's really only one thing, and that's discipline. So you either are making a decision that you don't like the life that you have, you want to change different things in that life. And so what you're willing to do is you say, I'm not living like this anymore. I'm done. For Jim Rohn, that's one of my mentors. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Bob. He was going, hey, listen, I had a Girl Scout knock on my door, and I answered the door, and she said, mister, would you like to support the Girl Scout and buy some cookies? And he said, no, I already bought some. And she says, well, thanks for supporting us. And she left. And he's just said, how low do you have to be in life to lie to a Girl Scout? I didn't say yes because I didn't have the money. And I'm not living life like that anymore. For me, it was driving my elder son, that was probably 5 or 6 at the time, and I pulled over to the shoulder of the shoulder and parked. And my son said to me, Dad, listen, if you go up just 2 more blocks and hang a left, our apartment building's on the left. And I did not know how to explain to him that the decisions and choices that I made put me in a place where I was hiding the car from the repo man. See, that's when I said, I'm not living like this anymore. It doesn't make a difference if my leg's in a cast and a doctor says I can't be a mechanic anymore. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be something that I could fall in love with and share. And so most of the things that I deal with, there's always mindset. I'll leave you with this because it's so important to me, is people think they need knowledge. They think they need skills. But without mindset, without the imagination of you thinking of a better future for you and your family, and then figuring out the things that need to happen to make that imagination and dreams come true, if you don't figure that out, it doesn't make the difference how skilled you are. There's people all over the world that talk about, glory days. back when they were athletes in high school, or they had things in high school, or they had that great marriage, or they had that great job. And then they live in the rest of their lives in mediocrity, living paycheck to paycheck, because they just don't realize that the things that they had in their past, their best days, your best days, were days that were in your imagination first. So if you're not willing to be disciplined and do the things you need to do to change the paradigms and the things that you think, it's easy to see anybody and see whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. What are they supposed to be doing? They need to be doing something that gets them closer and closer to what they imagined in their mind. It doesn't make a difference what it is. I've said this many times in a lot of my videos. There's people that make a full-time income stacking plastic cups, sharpening pencils, skipping rocks, launching pumpkins, throwing corn in a bag, and a competition, a cornhole. When you really look at life and you see the way people support themselves and make it above average income, and all they're doing is what they love to do, it's what they would do for no money, then you got the rest of the world that they don't like their job. They're tired after their job. They don't spend enough time learning to love themselves. They have problems with their relationships and their children. They don't like their job, so they do as little as possible not to get fired. And they just get in this, this conformity, this complacency, this life of mediocrity. And they can't imagine a way out of there. And the reason they can't is because they don't look at themselves as a miracle. So it's been a couple weeks since I did a video like this for the Imaginators. And again, I will continue to do more. And yeah, I'm just excited. I want to go from, the goal was to have 100,000 subscribers. There it is right there. Now the goal's 1 million subscribers. And so I'm going to find the people that want to change their life, and they'll simply do it by making a decision, and then their actions will prove each and every day that they can get what they want very quickly. As soon as your mindset's right and you're excited, you'll do stuff. And when you do stuff, you'll get results. And when you get results, it builds your confidence and your enthusiasm and thesos, God within. And then you do more action and you're more excited. So now you do more action, you get more results. Now you get more confidence, you get more confidence. Then you get more excited, and then you do more. And it just repeats in that cycle. So I could look at each and every one of your guys' day and just ask you to write out, tell me what you do every day. And I can immediately see in that whole deal that, what are you doing here that's going to create a better future for your life? Nothing. We got to find that. So I'm going to be doing breakthroughs. I'm going to be doing personal coaching for those of you that are really close to me. If you'd like some one-on-one personal coaching, I'm going to do that. And I'm really going to step in and really make a difference for the rest of the world. I'm only 63. I believe I'll be here for, another 63. I know some of you already got limiting beliefs. There's no way he's going to live to being 120. Well, we'll see. There's some real good technology coming along. But I just want to say to each and every one of you, thank you so much for being a part of the Imaginators. Moving forward, if you want more to do with just Matt, subscribe to Matt's YouTube channel. And, I'm going to be working with people to figure out why they're not excited, why they're not, don't have their imagination and click, and how to make that happen. Because my mentors did that for me, and I've been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. I was thinking today when I seen a short video that was done, is I've easily helped over 1 million people um, change something in their lives. Now, 1 million sounds like a lot until you talk about 8 billion. So I'm not going to rest on my loins. I'm going to up my level and make a bigger impact. And again, I love each and every one of you for supporting me and in supporting each other. So take care. God bless, and I believe in you. And never ever forget that you are a miracle, and you have within you you have everything you need already. You have everything you need already. We just got to get that to click so you believe it. I believe in you, and I love you, and see you on the next video.